let's courteous to our speakers. Thank you.
Drew Taylor came in first grade, so that makes him one of the 12-year guys. And for those of you who've been here since first grade, it's a special setting when you get into your senior year as a 12-year guy. You get a little bit of extra special treatment, sort of. I've been Drew's advisor for the last 3 years. This is my 4th year with him. It's been an honor and privilege to be his advisor because he is an amazing young man. He's got a twin sister, Akane, who is unfortunately in class and unable to see this. But probably one of the things that stands out most about Drew is that I don't think he's ever encountered a stranger. It's just a friend he hasn't met yet. He's always smiling and friendly. And so it actually has played over very well into the topic for today, which is on his interest and love of rowing and crew. And so I'm going to turn it over to Drew, let him tell you about this wonderful exercise treatment.
I was never supposed to be an athlete. There are videos of me running around the track, or at least trying to run around the track in middle school, and I'll tell you they are horrific. For the longest time, I thought that sports just weren't my deal. Before I got into rowing, I played tennis. A lot of tennis, actually. Like 4 to 5 hour practice sessions over the summer. I literally started picking up on conversational Bulgarian, Macedonian, and Russian just because I spent so much time on the court with these Eastern European tennis players. But no matter how much time and effort and energy I put into in tennis, I just never seemed to get good at it. Flash forward to just before freshman year, you guys are going to be there in a couple months. Pecos, right? So I'm in coach athletes group, which means there's going to be a lot of money. And we'd be hiking along, we'd be on our track, and I just start getting ahead of everyone else. And everyone else would kind of be a couple hundred meters behind, panting out of breath. Didn't really think much of it. And then we hike up these mountains, we go on these mountain trails, and I just kind of race up these mountains like they weren't a problem, and everyone else just kind of slow and pace them down, like struggling to keep up. So Coach Atherton pulls me aside and he says, dude, you need to try cardiovascular sport. You know, be it running or biking or rowing. And so I said, rowing sounds kind of cool. You know, tennis and plateauing, nothing really turn out of that. I'll give it a shot. So he connects me with the St. Mark's crew coach. And 3 years later, I just finished training with the junior national boats development team in Spain. And I've been accepted and recruited to row at Stanford in the fall next year. So it sounds kind of crazy, it sounds kind of far-fetched. But it's not really a freak of nature type story. Like, I was just as awkward and just as clumsy as the worst of you guys going into the freshman year. So all I had to do was find something that I liked, something I was passionate about, something I was good at, put my mind to it, and the rest is history. So I'm going to break it down how I went from 8th grader who can't catch a ball to international superstar rower. That's my name. So, freshman and sophomore year, I joined St. Mark's. And this was incredible because it gave me the best foundation that I can ask for rowing. And I learned the basics at St. Mark's, which is what I'm going to throw at you guys right now who don't really know what rowing is all about. So there's 2 types of rowing, 2 styles, sculling and sweeping. So sculling at the top means each rower is in control of 2 oars. So they're going out, coming in, 2 oars. And there's 3 types of boats for that: single, double, quad, 1, 2, 4 guys respectively. Pretty simple. Sweeping is you're only in charge of 1 oar, right? So you're coming out to one side, the guy behind you is coming out to the other side. You also have 3 boats here: a pair, a 4, and an 8. So 2, 4, and 8 guys respectively. And you always have someone in the boat who's canceling out where you're leaning at, port or starboard. Next, you have the screw. I'm willing to bet any of you guys have seen a rowing machine, you know, at the gym or in the weight room. And so you kind of know the basics, but I'll just go over it real quickly. So you have your arms away, body over, legs up, legs back down, body back, arms in, and it repeats. So the rowing machine is supposed to simulate and mimic what it's like in the water in an actual boat. So you can see on the right here, this is a single. You have the same seat moving back and forth And then you have the orlocks and the breakers, and you have the foot stretchers as well, where you put your feet. Instead of holding onto a handle, like on the rowing machine, you're actually holding onto an arm. And that threads through that hole in that breaker system there. You're off, good to go. So here's the German national team in the London 2012 Olympics. They actually go on to win this race, so this crew is really fast. But you can see, even at this international level, the fundamentals of the stroke are still the same. So watch, they come into the finish, arms away, body over, legs up, legs back down, body back, arms in. So it's pretty straightforward. And if you were to start rowing tomorrow, as a novice rower, the first stroke you take is going to be pretty similar to what they're taking right now. You know, obviously there's a disparity in how many millions of more strokes they've taken and the strength of the technique. But what I think is really cool, the fundamentals are still the same. So at St. Lawrence, we learn the basics, we have a great foundation, and I learned to fall in love with the sport. And ultimately, it's the passion and the love that I have for it that's gotten me so far. So before I go on, let me ask you a question. You guys probably haven't put too much thought into it, but how many of you guys would like to have a shot at going to an Ivy League school or like Stanford? I see like some Stanford and yeah. So everyone's that way. I was the exact same way going into high school. And I'm going to tell you that a sport like rowing can actually set you apart from the ever more competitive application pool that admissions has to sift through every year. Right? Because in this day and age, everyone is smart, you know, everyone is very talented. I mean, look around, right? We're surrounded by the brightest and the best students in Dallas. Everyone in this room wants to succeed. The first step in that is getting a good education. And the first step in that is having something that sets you apart. So whether it's rowing or just something that you're passionate about, you have to be good at something in order to have opportunities like this. So in regards to college, let me talk about the recruiting process for rowing. When a college is looking at you as a potential recruit, there's one number that they're looking at. It is how fast can you row 2,000 meters? How long does it take? Think about it kind of like a mile time in track. It's like the standard for rowing, right? It defines you as an athlete. And the beauty of this is it doesn't require a collective team effort, you know, a team's performance on a certain day, a certain game. And it doesn't require, you know, your dad being out at the ESD game with his camcorder, making sure he's recording that sick layup to put into recruiting the next day. So it's like, it's none of that. It's one number that with hard work, your individual effort is totally possible to achieve. So I'm going to give you some benchmark time for this. If you can row 2,000 meters on the rowing machine in under 7 minutes, you're pretty solid, right? So you actively row outside of school. I can take any of you guys, and in a year, I can get you under 7 minutes if, you know, just training on the air. When you break 6 minutes and 30 seconds, so now you're rowing this thing in under 6 minutes and 30 seconds, you're kind of entering a new pool of recruits and rowers nationwide, and you're getting closer. Keep in mind, though, as you're dropping this time, it gets exponentially harder and harder to keep going lower, right? So it's kind of like an asymptote. It's harder to get, you know, lower. Finally, if you're sub 6 minutes and 20 seconds, if you can throw 2,000 meters in under 6 minutes and 20 seconds, you're a pretty serious recruit. And colleges are going to start offering you official visits, which I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it's an all-expense paid trip over the weekend. They take your plane, or they pay for your plane ticket, room, board, food, everything. And you sit in on classes at the university, and you sit in on practices and everything. It's kind of like, please come to my school, consider us. So my experience with this thread TP test, and it sucks by the way, this 2,000-meter test is the most painful you possibly get. My experience with it was after this summer, after training in Spain, like twice a day, we're just killing it out there. And I'm like, okay, so I come back to the US and I say, I can probably go sub 6 minutes and 20 seconds. I'll just hop on the air and go try this. So I give it a go, and I don't do it. So look at the top line here, and you can see that. In the bars on the far left, that's the total time it took. So 6 minutes, 24 seconds. Couldn't quite break 6:20. And I was devastated, right? Because this number's going to like make or break me. And I'm like, oh gosh, you know, I'm not going to go to college, you know. So at this point, I had to give up, or I could keep at it, keep training. So I decided to move back. For 2 or 3 more weeks, by myself in my room, no fancy equipment, no 7 other national team guys, by myself, I row twice a day, 3 more weeks. And at 2K again, at the end of that period of time, and I break 620 by the smallest possible margin you can possibly break. 619.9. Within the first week of me doing this, I had official business lined up in Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Stanford, and that's what it takes. Right? The beauty of this sport is what you put in is what you get out. Right? There's no nonsense like, oh, how are the other people on the team performing at the same time? It is how much time, how many meters, how many hours do you want to log on that rowing machine? Because that's how much you're going to get out. And I'll be blunt, right? This sport is not easy. By no stretch of the imagination is this sport easy. But the benefits you reap with the job opportunities, college opportunities, and the characteristics you learn, right? Discipline, teamwork, tenacity, perseverance, all of that makes it worth it. And you have a lot of fun learning in the process. So at once, this sport is very individual. It's all about you, how hard you want to go today, how are your legs feeling, how are you doing mentally. And at the same time, when you're on the water, you saw in that video, right, the journalists, getting in on time, getting the blades perfectly in perfect synchronization, so in tune with one another. It's just as much of a team sport as football, basketball, or baseball, right? And off the water too. I mean, it takes a village. I could not be where I am today without teachers, coaches, and parents. And that's what's cool about it. Because you can take the individuality of the sport and the teamwork aspect of the sport and use them to your advantage. So, in closing, I say, give rowing a shot, right? It really is an up-and-coming sport, especially in Dallas area. The network is very close, the community is very, very close-knit, and you've got connections in high places. At the end of the day, rowing is all about getting girls, getting school, and getting an Ivy League education, right? On a more serious note, though, don't be afraid to try something. Different, right? This is so cliche, you guys have heard this a million times, but I cannot emphasize enough how important it is for you guys to embrace this, especially entering high school, right? Because the person walking across that stage in 4 years can be completely different from the person who's sitting in front of you right now. Starting next year, you have to face it. Don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to abandon all things, right? Like I said earlier, tennis was my life for 10 years, right? Every day, I was going out and practicing. And I thought that was going to be my destiny, and giving it up was the hardest thing I've ever done. But in the end, it was the best decision I've ever made. So, finally, keep searching for that special someone. Because I believe everyone's got something that they're good at, be it choir, robotics, rowing. So don't stop looking for whatever it is you're good at until you found it. Because that passion and love, whatever it's going to be, is going to take you very, very far. So with that, we can open it up to questions. You guys have any? How did the schools figure out that you can grow season? So you keep emailing them back and forth, and you can just kind of shoot them email. But at the same time, if it's so sometimes they have urban competitions, right? They're like rowing machine competitions. It's not on the water, it's like inside. And those results get posted online. So that wasn't that case, but in that case, I had to just call the coaches and email the coaches back and forth. You can also set up, I don't know if you've heard of recruiter.com, but there are certain websites that you can make, and you can just keep updating that profile, and it'll shoot interesting things email, so it keeps them updated that.
I saw on like the little time recorder at the very bottom, it was like a minute 33 for 2,000 meters. What did that mean?
Okay, yes, good question. So the first bar, let me just write it down so a little bit more clear. The bars there, that's like overall how long it takes. And the 4 bars underneath that is your time in 500 meters. So it's like a pace. So you can see this first one, I rode the first 500 meters in 1 minute and 35.3 seconds. And then the far right is strokes per minute. So that means I'm taking 36 strokes in 1 minute. Next 500, I slowed down a little bit. Took 500 meters, 1 minute, 36.2 seconds. And then slowed right down a little bit, and then finally nothing. Stay for the finish of the next one, the last one. Brought down the brought up the rate, and dropped the split up the time. Finished it for the last 5 minutes in 1 minute and 4 seconds. So that all gets added up, because this thing is just a calculator. It just gets added up in that final time. It's 5 minutes and 36 seconds, which is crazy. So, to give it a perspective, like the junior world record, so under 18 is like 6 minutes and 2 seconds. So it sounds like, it's like, oh wow, 17 seconds, like kind of close, but 17 seconds is an absurd amount of training from what I've done and what this German kid is doing. So yeah, so the junior world record is like 6 minutes and 2 seconds. National team guys are going to be in the 5 minutes, 60 second range, 5 minutes, 40 seconds. And there's only 5 people in the world who have broken 5 minutes and 40 seconds. And they actually have a Facebook group, which is kind of funny. I don't know. I read that online somewhere. Stanford, so I committed to go to Stanford.
What lake you guys were
So St. Mark's was on Lockman Lake, which is that way a ways. And the club team that I joined was at White Rock.
How did you know that you needed to take breaks 6:20 to get accepted?
Sure. So yeah, once you get into the rowing community, it's just kind of a common number. And you can talk to coaches, you can talk to like anyone who just kind of knows about that number. It's pretty common knowledge.
How often does the St. Mark's rowing team actually go out to the lake?
During the fall season, it's every day. During the spring season, you might have 1 or 2 days inside on the earth, but yeah, primarily when the conditions are good, like every day we can be out there.
Let's do 2 more questions.
Go for it.
Other than having the opportunity to go to such a big college, what would you say is the most valuable thing that you're on this college?
So I kind of mentioned it here, but the characteristics of it. But being able to sit down on her for an hour and a half and just row takes a lot of discipline. So you learn physical waking up like 5:40 a.m. in the morning. Teamwork, so many valuable aspects of it. So that's the hidden side of rowing that people that doesn't really show, but it's that for sure. Go for the last one.
What's the St. Mark's 200 meter?
The St. Mark's
2,000 meter.
2,000.
Oh, Cameron Baxley, I don't know if you heard last, he graduated 2 years ago. He claims that he went 6:18, but nobody saw it. So his, for sure, is 6:23. So I think I have it. I'm not totally sure. But I know there was some guy who graduated and he wrote for Harvard in 2003. He was probably pretty quick, but I don't know what his times are.
And Cameron rose from the Navy.
Cameron rose for Navy, that's right. So, yeah, he got